Well, it's lunchtime, folks. It's Susie Q96. We're going to sort some pennies. I was going to weigh some pennies, but my brand new scale came uncharged. So it's on the charger. So what I'm going to do is sort through this pile of 80s pennies after I find myself a glove and pick out all the 82s because I have a project for the 82s. I got to ascertain a bunch of different things with the 82s, and believe it or not, this is a clean glove. It's been washed. It's just grubbed from coinage. It just won't come clean. So anyway, what I'm doing right now is sorting out the 82s in this batch. I did some the other day. I already have some 82s. Obviously, these are not 80s at all. I think I got the 70s container by mistake. This is a 70, then. Yep. Okay, I got the 70s out by mistake. So let me put them back. Find the ones that are 80s. And we'll play with some 80s instead. We don't want these right now. They're for another day. Yeah, I got a really cool little scale. And I used it once when I got it. And it was perfectly calibrated. So I was very happy. But then I turned it back on today, and apparently I used all the juice that was in it. Okay, these are the 80s I need to sort. So I had to put it on the charger because what we're going to do is we're going to weigh the 82s. I mean, some of them you can pretty much eyeball and tell that they're zinc, but other ones not so much. So, oops. So the best way to make sure is to put them on the scale. And I'm not even sure what the heck. Okay, that is an 82. It's a grubby 82, but it's an 82. Somebody just came in. I don't know who. It's an 80. Anyway, I'm just looking for the 82s right now, putting all the rest back in the bucket. We will sort them out later. I got some containers I want to bring into the fix that used to hold beads. But right now, I just want the 82s because we're going to have fun with them if the scale ever charges up. Not you. Hey, Mikey. Hi, Mark. Anyway, I know I keep repeating myself when people come in, but all I'm doing is sorting out the 82s. That's all I want today. BC, I was trying to lurk. Oh, well. This is just a yeah. I am gonna put some of these 82s on my new scale, and because that's if you really can't tell by looking at them, the best way to tell if they're zinc or copper is to put them on the scale, because the copper ones are going to weigh 3.11 gram, give or take a little tiny bit, where your copper plated zinc ones only weigh like 2.5 grams. So there's a pretty significant weight change there. So you can definitely tell what they are. So, yeah, well, 10 sniffs would tell me too, but I don't really want to butcher them. Not today, anyway. There's a video out somewhere. I watched it, and I should have bookmarked it, showing how to remove the copper from the zinc pennies and still leave them looking like pennies. It was really weird. They didn't really look like pennies. The guys kind of said they would, but they really didn't when they got done. But yeah, these guys were so desperately trying to remove copper from pennies for the purpose of recycling the copper that they were actually dissecting zinc pennies. It was a very, very weird video. I'm sure you could find it. There's probably more than one of them, actually. I just happened to see one day and said, okay, what are these fools doing? I'm not that desperate at this point to save the copper. Oops, there went a penny. I don't know where that one. When I sweep in here, I will find. Okay, now we should have sound. Check-a-doodle-doo, check-a-doodle-doo. Should be fixed. Oh, I hate this. Let me know if I'm back. Should be. It should be. Yay, there we go. Yeah, when the power blipped off, it reset my StreamYard, and I thought I went deaf. StreamYard always defaults to the microscope, which of course does not have a microphone, which means it mutes me. And some folks would probably say that's a good thing. Yeah. I did not do my Wednesday night show. I had a myriad of problems going on here. Not the least of which was our internet kept going in and out and in and out. They're doing this big construction thing up the street. They've been doing it for like a year. Putting in some kind of drainage pipes and rerouting a road and doing a bunch of stuff. And I guess yesterday they moved over to the other side of the road for the first time. And within a couple of hours, they had messed up a bunch of underground cables and power lines and all sorts of things that they had done, and one of those was apparently connected to the internet service in this area. So it was going in and out, and I really didn't feel very good. I actually went to bed at about 6:30, and I woke up for a little bit. No, I went to bed shortly after 7. I take that back. 7 Central. Now, I was actually in bed when Ravenhawk went on, and he comes on at 7 Central. And I went in for a little bit because I'm a mod there, and I always try to at least show up, even if I can't stay or whatever. So I just stayed for a little bit. Then my internet went out again. So we've been having that problem ever since yesterday. And then today we have really nasty weather. And whenever that happens, we end up with intermittent power. So today's issue was caused by intermittent power. Okay, I think these are 60s pennies. I'm back to the situation. Well, these are just random pennies. I'm back to the situation where I've got coins all over my desk again. So, hi, Forrest. How you doing, sweetie? I just heard something real loud thing. I hope that wasn't somebody hitting a pole or something. Our weather's really nasty. I had to go out this morning just very briefly because M3 was out of cat feed and I was out of sugar, and you cannot have a Southern Girl's supply of sweet tea interrupted. So I had to go to the store. And it wasn't too bad when I went to the store. It was cold, but it wasn't bad. And by the time I came out, everything was wet and just freezing cold. The wind had come up. It was not nice. And I had gone to the post office already, so I turned my little self around, got back in the house where I plan to stay probably for the next couple of days, just because the weather is going to be like this, and I can't do anything. 1917 war movie. That sounds interesting. What you watching, Mikey? Yeah, I remember when I first moved from Florida to Michigan, and the only place I could get sweet tea was McDonald's. I would go into a restaurant and they would say, I'd ask them if they had sweet tea, and they'd say, no, but we have some sugar. You can just stir into the unsweet. And I'm like, no, honey, that is not how you make sweet tea. Sweet tea does not have a bunch of undissolved sugar floating in the bottom of the glass. That's not how you make it. So I would ask them to bring me a cup of hot tea and a glass of ice. And I know they thought I was crazy as a loon, but the sugar has to dissolve. And so that was how I would make it. That's really not how you make true sweet tea, but at least it was okay. But I could get sweet tea at McDonald's. That was about it. They are clueless in the North that you cannot cut a Southern Girl's sweet tea off like that. It's kind of like cutting a heroin addict's drugs off. And I am from Florida, Forest Raven. I'm sorry. I'm reading backwards today. Oh, look at me. Yeah, I was actually raised in Florida, so I grew up, sweet tea is basically the house wine of the South. So, yeah, gotta have it. Got to have it. Movie's called 1917. Okay, I'll have to see what that's about. I'm looking through all these containers. They're all over my desk. I don't know what's in them. They're not labeled. All right, let's see. 1917. Okay. 1917 is a 2019 British war film, partially inspired by stories told to producer Sam Mendes by his grandfather Alfred about his service during World War II. That sounds really cool. I like that kind of stuff. I'll have to watch that one, Mikey. So, yeah, I was raised in Orlando, Forest Raven, before Disney. Yeah, well, I live in a state of idiots right now. I'm sorry. I'm just mad at the state of Virginia. I have been to Gainesville thousands and thousands and thousands of times. I was raised in Orlando. I had lots of friends that went to the University of Florida in Gainesville. I, however, went to the University of South Florida in Tampa. I knew a lot of people lived in Gainesville, including I used to go see this band. My friend Danny Roberts was in this band, and we had no idea that later on this band was going to become very, very famous without Danny. But he was in a band called Mudcrutch, and we used to go see them pretty regularly. It was nothing for us to get in the car and drive from Orlando to Gainesville to see a band. We used to go see the Outlaws all the time, but we used to go see this band called Mudcrutch that later turned into Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. So, yeah, I've been to Gainesville 1 or 2 times. Orlando was really nice. When I grew up there, it was a great place to grow up. But when Disney came, actually, before Disney even opened, it started. I'm laughing and scratching, go crazy. Yeah, this state's crazy. The second time I've lived here, I should have learned something the first time, but I didn't. No, what happened with Orlando, up until 1971, we never had to lock our front doors or anything. It was a pretty big town, but it was not a tourist-based town. It was an aerospace. Okay, these are 60s. It was an aerospace and agricultural area. It really was not a tourist area at all. When they announced they were building Disney, people from all over the country flooded in to Orlando thinking they were going to get high-paying construction jobs and they were going to be doing way better than they were back in wherever they came from. The problem with that is Florida is a non-union or right-to-work state. We used to call it the right-to-starve state. So all these people in 1970, 71 actually started rolling in thinking they were going to get all these high-paying jobs building Disney. The problem was they were accustomed to union wage. And when they got down there, first of all, there really weren't that many jobs. Most of the jobs were already filled by people that lived there. So these people got down here, they loaded their kids and their stuff in their cars, and they showed up, and they didn't have any place to live, and they didn't have a job. So for the first time, really, I mean, we always had homeless people, But we had serious homeless people then. And it was different homeless people. It was families living in their cars down at the boat ramp or under the interstate. We never really had that before. And with that came a lot of crime. A lot of crime. And it has continued to this day. It gets worse and worse and worse. I know between the year 2000 and 2010, my mother's house was broken into 3 times. And she lived in a fairly nice neighborhood. I mean, it was starting to go downhill, and it's probably gone even further downhill now. But yeah, the Orlando I grew up in and the Orlando that's there now, 2 totally different Orlandos. So anyway, we ended up with all these people down there, and they didn't even have money to go back where they came from. They're just, they used their last bit of money thinking they were going to come down here and come down to Florida and strike it rich. And like I said, they found out, A, the construction jobs did not pay what they paid up north, and B, most of those jobs were already filled. So, like I said, we had people living in cars, families. I mean, we always had homeless people, always, because the railroad went through and, guys would hop off the train. But this was a different kind of homeless. And yeah, it just was really, really changed. Oh my God. If you lived off of OBT, I can understand why you were scared, honey. Do you know where the intersection of Michigan and Orange is? It's not too far from OBT. It's a fairly developed neighborhood now, but when I lived there, Michigan and Orange was mostly, there was a shopping center and orange groves and a bar. It was, all the houses were on dirt roads, and it was still pretty rural. Now it's all fancy. They call it SoDo, South Downtown. SoDo. Well, it wasn't a SoDo when I lived there. But yeah, most of OBT, the best way I can describe OBT is, without saying things that would probably make YouTube mad, is to say that most of the hotels and motels along OBT used to rent rooms by the hour. You can figure out the rest from there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, OBT, it's earned its reputation. And the thing is, when I was a little kid, it wasn't like that. That is another thing that started in the 70s. And part of that is because there were a lot of small motels along there. And that's where all those people who flooded in ended up. A lot of them ended up out there in those little motels, and they had no income. And I hate, sadly, a lot of them became thieves, prostitutes, and drug addicts. Just the desperation got to them. The fortunate ones got enough money and turned around and went back where they came from. I used to work with a group called the Travelers Aid Society, and it still exists, but not to the degree it used to. But what Travelers Aid was actually for was to help people who, for whatever reason, got stranded somewhere and couldn't get home. you know, a lot of times it was because they had been robbed, or they just didn't have enough money for their ticket, or their vehicle broke down, or there were a number of different reasons why we would issue a voucher. And all of a sudden we were just getting nailed by about 73, 74. We were getting nailed with people that had come down there thinking they were going to get these high paying jobs at Disney, only to find out that most of the people that worked at Disney were making minimum wage and were only part-time. That was part of Disney's way of not having to pay any benefits. They made everybody part-time except for the really important jobs. So unfortunately, Orlando has really turned into, a lot of the area is very, very crime-ridden. I still have a brother who lives in Castleberry, which is a much nicer area the next county over. And I still have friends who live in Orlando. It's just crazy. Go watching of your live stream. You've been warned. You've been mistaken for a homeless Bigfoot. Where in Virginia are you, Scratch? I forgot. I think you told me, but I do, you know, if there's a homeless Bigfoot roaming around, I want to make sure it's not too close to me. I live in a little town called Galax, Virginia. I call it Xlax, Virginia. Hi, Silver Wishes. Still need to send me an email. Still waiting. Package sitting here. No address on it. Oh, yeah, that's right. You live in Bristol. You're like an hour straight west of me. In the town where you can stay on one side of the street and you are in Bristol, Virginia, and you can step on the other side of the street and you are in Bristol, Tennessee. It's absolutely the truth. I used to have photographs of me standing with one foot in Virginia and one in Tennessee. I lost those pictures, but yeah, that's not that far from me, actually. But keep that homeless Bigfoot over there, okay? We got enough problems over here in Galax. This is a weird place. Virginia's just done some strange thing. I've been driving on Georgia plates since I moved here in August, waiting for my appointment to roll around at the DMV. It's finally coming up this month on the 22nd. They let me change my license over in November, but then I had to make a separate appointment to change my tags, which means I'm still paying Georgia insurance, driving on Georgia tags with a Virginia driver's license. The state of Virginia forces you to violate the law. It's crazy. The other thing that's crazy, and I don't want to dwell too long on it, but they are painfully slow in getting the COVID vaccinations here. I guess up in the north part of the state where the politicians live, they're getting theirs. But those of us down here, so far, only the people who work in healthcare are getting any of that. Not the people that are high risk that are out here walking around. But Anyway, yeah, it's just a really, they do some strange things here. I don't understand. Oh, I wish I could live in Florida again, but on my income, I found it virtually impossible. I tried to get into the low-cost senior housing there, and I was on a wait list for 2 years and never moved up the list. And I finally had to give up after my mom died. My brother decided that the house needed to be sold. I ended up living in a motorhome that was about 40 years old. Wandered around with that for a while. Yeah, well, see, they're not over here, and that wouldn't help me anyway because I'm 67. But the problem is the people who are high risk, regardless of age, should be getting them, especially if you live in a building where half the people in the building, where everybody's been exposed, and everybody in the building is high risk. We can't even get them to tell us when they might be available. Now, my brother down in Florida, he already has gotten his first one. So he's good to go. I can't go see my brother until I get those shots. And though some of you know, Muscle Shell gave me money to go see my brother in Florida. But until I have the shots, I can't go. My brother will not allow me to go, for one thing. He does not want me to come unless I've had my shots, as he puts it. Well, if I don't get them, I'll never see my brother. So I got to do it. You know, that's the thing. If I ever want to see my brother again, I have to get those shots. My brother is substantially older than me. I'm not going to give you his exact age, but he is quite a bit older than me, and I will be 68 very soon. So I cannot. Anyway, I'm not allowed to see him unless I get my shots. He always asks me if I've had my cootie shots or my rabies shots or whatever. I am not really that worried about the vaccine. There are some people that are saying, oh, I caught it from the vaccine, but my guess is they did not catch it from the vaccine. What they did was they did not follow the instructions, which are after you get the first shot, you are supposed to stay away from everybody. You're supposed to quarantine yourself for 14 days so that you don't get exposed. Well, what's happening, some of these people are not following that. And they think, okay, I got the one shot. I'm going out. I'm going to party. I'm going to go visit everybody. I'm going to church. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And they're getting exposed right before they go for the second shot. So they're still testing negative. And then a couple days later, they're testing positive and they're saying, oh, I got it from the vaccine. No, you got it from being a dum-dum. I don't think the risk, for me, the risk is bigger if I don't get it than it is if I do. So I've had to weigh that, and I've had to discuss it with several doctors that I see because I do have a lot of health issues. And pretty much all of them have said, you know, I got a better chance of surviving if I get it than I do if I don't. So I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. That's just my personal, where my health fits in. I will be right back. I'm going to walk over here and see if my scale has charged up yet. Do, 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 do. Yay, we got the green light. Woohoo. We're ready to rock and roll. Woohoo. We got the green light, baby. All right. First, I'm going to show you my scale. I'm going to switch my cameras. Show you how cool my scale looks. I really like this scale. I'm impressed. Let me put the other camera on. Come on. There we go. All righty. As you can see, it's in a little metal case. It's one of those things that's kind of designed to protect it. It's a pretty stout little unit. And so anyway, I like it. And then, see if I can open it with my gloves on. Got the, oops. I don't have a lot of room on my desk. But anyway, there's what it looks like. I have it upside down, I think. Try to keep my camera from falling. But anyway, camera's not really liking being this close, but I probably need to calibrate it again. So calibration is pretty simple. You just hold the unit thing down. Oh, wait a minute. First, you got to turn it on. Why is it still red? The light was green, but now it says it's not. Well, I guess it's not fully charged, even though the light was green. That doesn't make sense. All right. I'll have to put it back on the charger some more. Anyway, they give you the weight to calibrate it with. And when I calibrated it, and I also weighed a nickel to make sure, and it calibrated perfectly. But now I'm having charging issues. Let me plug it back in. All right. I don't know why the light was green. It said it was said it was charged, but I just plugged it back in and now it's not. So I'll probably have to leave it on there all night. So we won't get to play that game. Well, there I am. Now I don't really want to be on camera right now. So there we go. Yeah, I don't want to be on camera because I'm in my jammies. I got dressed earlier and then I came home and put my jammies back on. Oh, well, I got some more pennies here. I got to figure out what these are. I think I know what they are, but uncertain because I didn't label my trays as I intended to do. So now I have all these pennies, and I still have most of a box of pennies that haven't even been searched yet. So let me see what these pennies are. I had somebody, not the 15th day of Christmas. Oh, I know, I still have the tree up. It's coming down this weekend. I have to go down to my storage and get the boxes. So I should have done that when I was out this morning, but the weather was really nasty and I just decided that I was not going to drive anywhere I didn't have to. When I came out of the grocery, it was exceedingly nasty. It was misting rain, and the wind was blowing it sideways, and it was cold, and I didn't like it. I don't think these pennies have been sorted at all. So we'll just see what's in here. We will be revisiting these later. All the zincs go in this big tub over here on the side, but I still have to look at them because there are things to find. Yeah, so I guess I will just leave that scale on the charger overnight, and we will do the weighing game. I have some rounds I want to weigh too, just to see if they actually weigh what they say they do. I also got the scale to use with jewelry. Okay, what do I do with the... okay. I'm a mess here. Okay, those are 60s. These are 80s. I gotta make labels for all these containers. So, anyway, I didn't do my show last night, and I apologize, but there were so many different reasons that I did not. Like I said, the power was going in and out, and the cable was going in and out, and I felt like I had been hit by a truck, and Handy Andy wasn't going to make it because he is, and I don't want to hear this rumor again. I've had people saying that Andy is not going to be a mod on my channel anymore, and that's not true. So whoever's passing that rumor around the community is mistaken. But he is planning to do a marathon 24-hour search with another channel, and he was practicing his coin rolling skills, I guess, and so, or no, his coin unrolling skills, I'm sorry, his coin hunting skills. And they were working out the details of that event, which is going to happen later in the month. And so all of those combined reasons, but most importantly, because I felt horrible, really, really bad. I just didn't feel like doing the show. So I apologize to everybody, but I'm still waiting to hear back from my health insurance, who cannot seem to find me an endocrinologist who can see me before April. And no, I kind of need a doctor before April. So there's a lady working on it. But for right now, I'm just having to deal with all of the strange things that a malfunctioning thyroid puts your body through. And one of them is it is very exhausting. Okay, so I got that little pile sorted out. Now I got one more tray over here full of pennies. I think these are 82, 83, and 84. Oh, I will find out pretty quickly, but yeah, that's anyway, that's why I didn't do my show, and that's why I didn't finish my detecting videos. I'm just sometimes I'm good, and sometimes I just have to go lie down. It'll hit me, and all of a sudden I just have to lie down like immediately. It's really crazy. Okay, this is 84s. So this end should be 82s. Yeah. Okay, I actually know what this tray is. These are the rest of the ones that when I get the scale charged up, we will be sorting. We will be looking at those for errors. We will be looking at those for copper versus zinc. The only year where you legitimately have that problem. If you find, it's my understanding that there's a few rogue 83s that got done on copper planchets instead of the zinc that they were supposed to be on. And if you find one of those, you can head to the bank because those babies got some value. I don't know what these pennies are. See, I have all these ever since I got this box of penny. Oh, this is the uglies. That's what this is. This is my ugly, some of my ugly coins that I've been putting aside. There's some serious uglies in here. Just showing you. This one, it looks like somebody hit it with a hammer bammer a few times. And they're ugly for different reasons. Some of them are ugly because they've been in the ground. Some of them are ugly. Ooh, that's a 58. I shouldn't have put that in the uglies. It is ugly, but keep that out. I must have just picked that up and said, oh, that's ugly, and threw it in. Yeah, see, these are just some of my uglies. This is actually a 2009 keel boat, but you'd never, you just barely tell. I think that thing is shipwrecked. It is sad. So yeah, I have a lot of uglies in this little container here. So I'm trying to at least get them where I can put labels on them. I love these containers. My sister got these for me. Actually, for some kind of diet plan where you measured out your portions, but I measure out my pennies. So, right, there's a stray penny. Yeah, I just have coins everywhere. It's gone wild in here. So, alrighty, this I need to put somewhere else. Oh yeah, I can put that down here. I still have the rest of the quarters I did not do on Monday's show because we had problems with the internet. So we only got to do the state quarters. I'm just trying, I'm doing okay right now. I got enough energy to do this, but I don't have enough energy to like be cleaning house or something like that, and I don't really want to clean house. So I'm just sitting here playing with what's on my desk, trying to make sense out of it all. So we might as well open up a roll of pennies. I still have the bulk of this box here. So let's play with the pennies. This is we're still playing with pennies. Oops, I see a really nasty one. So far, I have not found in this box a single Wheatie. These are bank rolled pennies. These are not customer rolls. But I have not found any Wheaties yet. I have found 1960s and but not a single Wheatie, and no buffaloes have roamed. And so hasn't been real exciting. Oh, Scratch and Go Crazy. He's got his eyeballs on. Let's look some pennies. Okay, I'm gonna get one of these empty trays. Throw 80s, 70s, and 60s in it. and then I can go back through them and distribute them appropriately. Anything that is zinc, I'm throwing in the tub. Ooh, that's not a bad looking 1980. Look at that. That's still copper. It's still got the sunshine shining on that one. That's got the bling thing happening. Oh, of course, somebody's got to call me. Oh, hang on. I got to mute everybody. It's the drugstore. Ah! Sorry, that was not the drugstore. That was the post office. Had a little trouble with my post office. Yeah, we got a boy down there that doesn't understand when a package is like 11 by 14 and it's a cardboard envelope. You know, it's cardboard for a reason. That's to protect what's inside of it. Well, this boy that was sorting the mail down there decided to bend this package in half. And what was in the package was a very rare vintage photograph of the band that I work with, and he ruined it. So I complained about it because he cost our singer of the band a substantial amount of money. And so anyway, that was them saying, oh, gee, we're sorry, we broke it. Ooh, 64D. I'm back. Okay, what have I got going here? Oh, hang on. I forgot what bin I'm putting what in here. Okay, that's a 70. And that's a 70. Okay, I got it now. So now I know where to put this 69D. So far, the oldest thing that came out of this roll. Ooh, there's a grub. Put that in the grub hub. Icky poo, yuck. Let me know when y'all got me back. Yeah, I was really not happy with the way the post office handled that. And what was really crazy, I had another package that day, and what they do with packages here, if they're too big for your box, they have lockers that they put them in, and they put the key in your box, which is very good. And I had a package that came the same day as the envelope they destroyed, and they put the package in the locker. Don't know why they didn't put the envelope, the cardboard envelope in there with it. That would have made too much sense, I guess. So anyway, the picture is bent, and of course, you know, it's one of those things you can't replace. So 61D, we're getting closer to the Wheaties. We're not quite there yet. So anyway, I had to stop and deal with them. If the phone rings during this, I'm going to have to take it if it has anything to do with my medication. And that's what I thought that was. I thought that was the drugstore. They're having an issue with them, saying that my insurance won't pay for a medication that I've talked to my insurance 3 times, and they said, we approved it. We approved it. So somebody's dropping the ball somewhere. Usually it's me dropping the ball, but nope. Anyway. There's another grub. That one's a zinc grub. Zinc pennies to me are the biggest waste of money. Why did they make these horrible things? Excuse me. I have a whole container somewhere of deteriorated zinc pennies that the bank won't take. Nobody will reimburse me for them. The mint says they won't reimburse me for them. And the bank won't reimburse me for them. They're coins that just deteriorated in the ground. To me, putting an ugly coin like that, a poor quality coin, it's not that the coins are ugly, it's just they're poor quality. To put a poor quality coin like that out in the world, it just kind of makes America look cheap. It's tacky. They tacky. Yeah, I think the oldest coin we got out of this roll was the 61D. Too much stinking zinkins. Yeah, we're going to open up one more, but I'm going to try to find one that has a dark colored ender. Ooh, this has got a darker colored ender. Now watch, it'll be a 2000. Can't get it open with my glove on. Yeah, I'm just trying to... I got to do these pennies. I need to take them back, and I haven't even really started them yet because I just haven't felt very good. I might actually end up doing some of them from my boudoir on streaming on my laptop. I don't have a sofa. I have minimal living room furniture. So if I want to lie down, I have to go in, get in my bed. So maybe I can do some of them that way. You'd see more of M3 because he thinks that's his bed. His bed is on my bed. I got him a bed for Christmas. And you guys have seen him lying on it in some of the pictures at the beginning of some of my videos, but he will not use that bed unless it's in my bed. If I put it on the floor, he won't sleep in it. If I put it on his cat condominium, he won't sleep in it. If it's on my bed, he'll sleep in it. So so he's down at the end of the bed. He has his bed. And it's the funniest thing because there's this one certain TV series that I watch that's on the BBC. Actually, it's several different series that I'm working my way through. They have a series of, it's a lady named Ruth Goodman and an archaeologist named Peter Ginn. And they go back and they live in different time periods, and they live just like the people would. They have to use the same tools. They have to wear the same clothes. They have to eat the same food. And when I put that on, there's something about that show that M3 just, he really likes it. And he will lay there on his little bed and just stare at that TV and watch that. And I don't know what it is, but there's something in that show that somebody's voice or something that he really likes. It is a really cool, different series. They've got one where they go and they live in the Tudor period. They've got one where they live on an Edwardian farm. They've got one where they live in World War II on a farm. And everything they do is historically accurate. It's really, really, oh goodness. I don't know if anybody's hearing me at all. It says there's 4 people in here, but nobody's saying anything. So I don't know if you hear or not. But anyway, I would highly recommend those shows if you're into any kind of history, especially the wartime one. The wartime one is really it covers the World War II period, and it shows how the Germans almost starved the English into submission, and it shows what they had to do to survive. It's pretty amazing stuff. I would love, if I were younger, especially, I would love to go do that for a year. Because, yeah, I think, Mikey, I think you would like that series, especially because two of the guys that are in it are historians and archaeologists. Really, really interesting stuff. But for whatever reason, M3 likes it. I'm not sure which person on there he likes, but there's somebody in that show that he's just fascinated with. And if I put that on, he's right there on the end of the bed just staring at the TV. And if I turn it off while it's on, he gets mad. Well, they have different titles for them. They're all the same people, but they're different titles. One of them is called the Edwardian Farm. Then there's one called the Tudor Monastery. And all these people go back and they live in the time, whatever the time period of those things are. And they have to use all of the tools. They have to grow the crops from heirloom seeds. Everything is historically accurate in them. And the one that is really the best is the Wartime Farm. It is World War II, and it shows how much control the British government took over farmers. I'm watching them on YouTube. They're originally on BBC, but they're on YouTube. If you look for a lady named Ruth Goodman, she is the historian that's in all of them. And then there's a couple of archaeologists and other people that appear with her. But they're really fascinating shows. Oh, and then there's another one, and I've forgotten what it's called, but it's about how they restored old trains that were used in different parts of history. And that one's really cool too. But from an archaeological standpoint, the shows are really interesting. They don't actually do a lot of digs on the show, but because the guy is an archaeologist, the insight is, of what they're given to work with. He knows if they're given something that was not of the time period. It's just some pretty neat stuff to watch. But M3 loves it. I don't know why. My cat thinks he just loves that show, and I don't know why, but it's a good thing I like them. Because some of them I've watched more than once because I have fallen asleep when I had it on. But yeah, the guy's name, and you can search for him, any of the shows he did on BBC. His name is Peter Ginn, and the lady is Ruth Goodman. And then they have some other people that come in with them. There's another archaeologist and some other historians and stuff, but mostly those two. They have done all sorts of stuff. But Peter Ginn, he also has some shows on where they're actually out doing some live archaeological digs of like Roman temples and stuff. He's really very interesting guy. Didn't find much in that roll. I wish I could find one that looked like it had more potential. They all kind of look like they're full of zinc. It's not brand new zinc, but it's still zinc. So, yeah, Lester, I do the same thing a lot of times. I'm watching on my fire stick when I'm in the bedroom. I finally put my laptop in there because I was doing the same thing, watching YouTube on my fire stick. And if I wanted to say something, I had to get on my phone and do it. So I did finally put my laptop back in there yesterday. I had taken it out to take it when I went to the auto mechanic, so I'd have something to do while I was sitting there. But I finally got it all hooked back up yesterday because I haven't been well, and I got a feeling I'm going to be spending more time in there. Not because I want to, but because until these doctors can, there's a 73. So far, they found me an endocrinologist, but they can't see me until April. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to make it till April, folks. You're going to have to do something a little better than that. So, anyway, my thyroid's just really, really raging. Not a bad looking 75. A few little scratches and dings, but not too bad. Right now, all I'm doing is giving them a cursory look and sorting the 80s, 70s, and 60. There's a 63D, kind of grubby, but so far I haven't gotten anything older than a 61. So if that happens, I'll start another container. Actually, I probably have containers already. But I'm going to finish this roll, and I'm starting to wind down real fast. So I'll probably go have a nap. I also have to clean my detecting equipment. I went out briefly yesterday to try the 2 new coils that I got. I do love the carry bag that I got. I can put all my stuff in one bag. Ooh, Wheatie, Wheatie, Wheatie. We finally got a Wheatie. We got a Wheatie. How old is our Wheatie? Breakfast of Champions. It's the Wheatie. 5070. Woohoo, we got us a Wheatie. First one out of this whole box. About time. Goodness. Anyway, I got to play with it a little bit. I'm going to have to study up on the small coil. I'm really not doing well with it. What it's supposed to do is allow you to pick up less trash and zone in more on the specific targets. But I seem to be zoning in on the specific trash. I'm going to have to study. Ooh, 71S. There we go. We got us an S. So then I put the other one on, the other coil. And I have it on the carbon fiber shaft. because it's a little bit bigger coil, and I was trying to keep the weight of the machine lighter. So I put that one on, and boom, I started finding, I mean, it was just clad, but I found in a half an hour probably $2.50, and not very much of it was pennies. It was mostly quarters and dimes. I think I found a nickel, but mostly I was finding quarters and dimes, and I like that. Unfortunately, by the time I put that on and started testing it out, it was 4:30 and the temperature was dropping rapidly. So my feet were so cold I couldn't feel my feet anymore, and I'm still out there because I was finding money. So I finally had to just quit and come home, and by the time I got home it was dark and the wind was blowing and the temp was dropping, and so I have not cleaned my equipment, but that's probably going to happen in about 2 hours. I'm going to finish this roll of pennies and then take a nap. And 67, not quite where we want to be there, but we know there's hope because we got the 57. So anyway, then I'm going to clean my equipment up because I got a message from Calico today that because I had submitted the review that I did, that they wanted me to film a video. So I'm gonna clean up my equipment, and then tomorrow it's supposed to be a little bit better outside. It's still going to be cold, but I'm gonna film that little video for the Calico people. So okay, so the best thing we got out of that roll was the Weedy 57D Weedy. Come on, focus, you. I don't know why. I can't tell if that's focused or not. I still don't have my new glasses. But that was our first Weedy out of the box. So, and then we got a 71S out of that roll too. So those are the two finds. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I'm going to go have a nap now. If I feel better later, I'll come back on and we'll do some more, because I haven't even finished the second layer yet. You know, there's over half the boxes still here. So, all righty. We'll see y'all later. I'm going to go take a nap. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please do. If you're not subscribed to me yet, please do. And we will hopefully get the new scale charged up so we can weigh some coins. See what's zinc and what's copper on the 82s. So see y'all later. Bye-bye. M3 says he still hasn't gotten any cat treats. He's boycotting the channel. He will not appear because we have not gotten him any cat treats. Oh my goodness, that is one spoiled kitty. We'll see y'all later. Bye, everybody.